guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Update is just hours away at this point. I released an update video, 5 features that I want Clan Wars to have in order to satisfy me, yours truly. I thank you so much for all the feedback that you guys gave on that video. Man, over 900 comments when I woke up this morning. I'm not afraid to say it too. I'm not afraid to brag at how awesome you guys are. I look at some other channels out there, no names in the Clash Royale ecosystem, and I'm like, man, my subscribers, the people who comment on my videos, are so thoughtful and intelligent and insightful, and some other channels is just like, yeah, where's Fortnite? Bleh. You know, that's it. That's all you see, the whole channel, the whole comments. Anyway, I digress. Back to the subject at hand today. We're going to be talking about the new meta because we don't know what it's going to be yet, but I figured it'd be fun to kind of speculate with you guys, and I want to show you guys 6 decks that I think will be super strong in the new meta, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments which one is your favorite or which one I might be off base on, and God knows there might be 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 of those. So let's go ahead and get through the lineup here. Deck number, spoiler. Deck number 1 is going to 3v3 Musketeers. Now, even with Lightning feasibly being back in the meta with a 3.5 radius buff from 3, I do think that 3 Musketeers is going to be as strong as ever. And that might frustrate some people because 3 Musketeers has really always been meta ever since way back in the day. Darth Jar Jar first split his first 3 Musketeers instead of playing them in the same lane as we saw in the Helsinki tournament back in the day when they were first introduced to the game. It took like 3 months for someone to realize that, hey, we should probably split them in the back. They're better that way. Anyway, 3 Musketeers I think is going to be incredibly viable with Lightning because as a 3 Musketeer player myself, I love going against Lightning, especially if I have the Battle Ram. Battle Ram is super strong against Lightning, as you guys know. I anticipate 3 Musketeers to be stronger than ever. I'd rather go against Lightning and give me the freedom to play my 3 Musketeers in the same lane versus a Fireball Zap as a 3 Musketeer player. Forget it, man. And then I have an Ice Golem and a Battle Ram. I can block all 3 strikes of the Lightning, baby. And then I have 2 Barbarians, 3 Musketeers coming at you in the same lane. Not a good scenario for my opponent. So I think that 3 Musketeers will be extremely viable. I got kind of cute here. I added Zappies to this deck. This is really a flex spot here, so if you don't have Zappies leveled up, you can go with a more classic Goblin Gang version, which is really old meta, and, you know, I'm starting with this one because basically I think that the old meta will still be the new meta in some cases. Deck number 2 is going to be, boom, it's going to be Bridge Spam. New and improved Bridge Spam. This time, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Magic Archer added to the mix here. Magic Archer is going to get some really subtle honing ability on his magic arrows, which are going to make them more likely to hit their targets. And if there's one thing that I hear people complaining about a Magic Archer is that the skill cap is just too high. Placement is so incredibly key. I think that with the kind of soft buff to Magic Archer, he's going to fit just beautifully into a number of decks, and this could be one of them. Bridge Spam with the Magic Archer in for the Mega Minion, typically found in this variation of this deck, and I think it's going to be super strong. You'll notice that I still have Dark Prince in the deck. Dark Prince did get a 25% nerf to his shield. I don't think it's going to matter much, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't. Think about it. He'll still withstand a rocket on his shield, right? It's not going to matter. It's just going to take off the shield, and then he'll start at full hit points. So the shield still serves the same purpose in a lot of scenarios. I think the Dark Prince is going to be just fine in the new meta. Deck number 3 is, Bait. Now, I could have picked so many different versions of Log Bait because I think it's going to see a nice kind of reemergence as a tier 1 deck in the meta right now. You can make the argument it's kind of tier 2. Knight got a buff back, a little bit of a buff, so I expect to see Knight back in a lot of chip decks and a lot of bait decks. We also see the Dart Goblin getting a buff now that he can 2-shot minions. I do think that he'll be viable competitively in the game. Now, I think that he, again, works best in bait decks as well as chip decks. So we don't have any chip decks like minor control decks, but I think he's a really great defensive option. And this is a type of deck that you could see. Check this out. Magic Archer also in the mix here. And we have basically Magic Archer to bait out big spells. And then on logs or small spells, we have Princess, we have Dart Goblin, we have Goblin Gang, and Goblin Barrel. 4 log targets in this deck. It could be nasty, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, I should mention that I think I almost included the Mega Knight Skeleton Barrel deck in this, group in this video. However, I don't know. I'm like on the fence. I give the Mega Knight Skeleton Barrel deck about 50% chance of coming back into the meta. I'll flash it on the screen in case you guys forgot. So I guess I am kind of including it in the video, huh? Well, this deck, I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on it, but I do think that Zap Bait will creep back into the meta now that the Skeleton Barrel does have 7 skeletons instead of 6, formerly instead of 8. So this deck, you know, may or may not be the best variation of bait, but I do like the fact that it has the Dart Goblin in there, and I think it's going to be a nod to the Dart Goblin that he will be competitively viable. Deck number 4. Oh, what is this? This looks like a deck from a year ago, and I guess besides the Night Witch, it could be. And guys, it is the Golem Lightning deck. I think that Golem Lightning could be back, baby, and what better card to pair with Golem Lightning than the Night Witch? I think that she is an underrated card when it comes to her spot in Golem decks, really. She doesn't fit that well in other decks, but Golem decks is still an area where the Night Witch can shine, summoning those bats to kind of protect the Golem from the Inferno towers, and of course you also have the lightning to combo as well. So we have that frees us up to use log instead of zap. So a really old school version of the Golem deck. I think it could be back with the new lightning spell added to the deck. This would be a very difficult and annoying deck to face in the new meta, I think. Deck number 5 is going to be another Lightning deck. I do think that Lightning suddenly becomes viable not only because of the fact that it received a buff, but also in heavy beatdown decks, there's just so many mid HP defensive units going around between the Magic Archer and the Musketeer and the Mega Minion, and I could just go on and on and on and on and on. Executioner, Hunter, you know, Flying Machine, Dart Goblin, Princess. There's so many low to mid HP units, E-Wiz, Ice Wiz, regular Wiz, right? That you can have so many lightning targets now. I think that with that extra buff, it's going to tilt the scales to where Lightning will be viable in beatdown decks again. So this would be my favorite version of a LavaLoon deck with Lightning. However, if you do have your guards leveled up enough, I still think that Prince meta and Bridge Spam meta will still be pretty prevalent, so I would go ahead and sub in guards for the Goblin Gang. Now, I did say I had another deck for you guys, and it is, where did I share it? Oh my god, I shared something and then everybody started sharing something. So look at this deck right here that I've been playing. I love this deck. Let me copy it to my deck slot. And so Hunter got a buff, and more so than Hunter getting a buff, I really think that now he can shoot at point blank range and actually hit all his targets. I think there's a subtle buff, but I think that will actually go a long way into making him viable. Now look at this deck, guys. I love it because of one major thing. It's not a new deck by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe adding Hunter is a little bit of the latest version of it, but it's really the 3 spells. I think that with all the Zap Bait, all the log bait, and all the 3 musketeers and fireball bait with the, you know, 3 muskies and everything else that we just went over that you can hit with a fireball, I think this deck will be super powerful. It will be relentless, and it will do very well against what are difficult matchups in a vacuum, namely 3 musketeers, and you'll have the fireball zap, and of course against any bait deck you have no problem. You have the log, you have fireball if you need it, you have a charging dark prince, you have a few options there. So I do think that the 3 spell decks will come back to the meta. Let's go ahead and watch that replay. Why not, right? It was just the 7th win in a GC, but why not kind of cover it for you guys? And I can show you right now in the meta, which is a little bit different, obviously, just how effective this deck can be. I see it actually getting stronger once we go to the new balance update, or once we get the new balance update, excuse me. So here we go. The opponent's going to split guards in the back. A little bit of an aggressive play on my part, starting out with a giant. Not something you normally want to do, but I figured, you know, sometimes you're just farming grand challenges and you don't really care. You know, you're not playing as if you're in a big tournament. You guys know the feeling. So I play a little bit of light defense here on the right lane. He answers with a Mega Minion. I decided to go ahead and counter with a Mega Minion of my own, and we'll go ahead and take care of that. Then we play a Hunter directly behind my Giant. Nice guards to distract everything in the middle there. Killing my Giant is their Hunter, and he starts off really better plays than yours truly. He has a Hunter surviving, gonna force me to use my log there. The beautiful thing about this deck is, again, is that, you know, you can use your spells fairly aggressively, fairly liberally, because let's face it, you have 3 of them. So, you know, even if you have to use your log in that sort of a situation, at this point, I'm confident he's not playing a log bait deck, so I feel pretty good about this. He's going to go ahead and hit me at the bridge. I don't have a great option here, so I'm just going to have to fireball and zap that Mega Minion away, and then I'll just go ahead and wait for my Mega Minion to take care of his giant, which is going to be a while. I'm going to lose a lot of HP on that right tower. So at this point, he still has a 2 elixir lead, and things aren't looking very good for me. But what I'm thinking in my head is, you know what, he's gonna have to respond to this Mega Minion. That will put us closer in elixir. All I really have to do is drop down a giant in the left lane and try to get a big push. If I kind of semi-ignore this miner, because of his placement, I'm able to use the hunter there, get 1 shot off it in the opposite lane. So now we have our first, like, kind of semi-decent push going in the left lane. This is the first time, besides that first giant play, that I could actually use the giant, try to get a big push going. So hunter gets 1 shot off against those guards, and I just decided to start really laying it on thick on that river. He gives me some good fireball value here, so I know my Mega Minion is going to take out that other Mega Minion. We do hit that left tower with the Dark Prince, and here comes the miner, and this was a very important zap there. I was planning that zap before I did it, and what I wanted to do is get that tower to retarget onto the miner, and that's something that you will be doing a lot in this deck, is retargeting the tower onto the miner if you send in a late miner to tank in for your supporting troops after the giant dies. So here I'm forced to really use both the hunter and the Mega Minion on defense. It does pretty well. It prevents the giant from getting a hit on the tower, and they used a poison. So they used 9 elixir on that push. Granted, I did defend with 8, actually 7 elixir. Let me count that correctly. And then a great fireball value there, and here it comes. This is what's going to end the match here for me. I have the Mega Minion. Do I have a Mega Minion in there? What do I have? Oh, miner. I have the miner, the giant. Giant dies, but the miner and the Dark Prince are going to get the job done there. So finishing off that with a victory. And guys, I gotta say, I really like this deck, and I think it's going to be even better. Don't be fooled on the Dark Prince. I think that don't stop using him just because he was nerfed. That would be my advice to you if you've leveled up your Dark Prince, or if you find a deck that you really like with Dark Prince in it. As a matter of fact, that first deck that we shared with you guys could easily be a Dark, or where it is. Okay, there we could easily have Dark Prince in here as well, but I would keep the Ram in there. So maybe Dark Prince for, I don't know, Zappies, I guess. Kind of a tough spot there. You like having the Goblin Gang to give you a little bit more air targeting. That's why I'm reluctant to take out the Zappies. But either way, guys, what is your favorite deck out of these 6 or /7 decks that I shared with you guys today? Are you hyped for the update? I certainly am. You can bet your bottom dollar that I will be here tomorrow sharing all the update news as we get it. So stay tuned. Keep your eyes peeled on CWA Mobile Gaming. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. Huge shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information in the description below, along with my stats on statsroyale.com. You can spy on me playing GCs if you want. Not much to look at, but hey, eat your heart out, guys. So guys, that's gonna do it for today. Huge shout out to Do Recorder. Check them out in the description below in the pinned comment. The best way to record and stream from your mobile device directly to Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. Guys, check out that download, and hey, I'll see you in the next episode. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.